Principles of Sharia are at odds with the Constitution and the laws of the United States. Sharia fails to include due process, treats non-Muslims as second-class citizens, and prescribes barbaric punishments. All the while, polygamy, misguided corporal punishment for perceived violations of Islam, and acts of violence and terrorism on behalf of Sharia are permitted by its adherents. Sharia encourages violence, silences dissent, rejects religious freedom, and subjugates women and children. Let's be clear. This is not about having the freedom of worshiping a religion of one's choosing, such as Islam, but forcing a foreign legal code that is incompatible with our laws and legal system that provides unwanted consequences to the American people. It's everything we've fought against for more than 250 years. Thomas Jefferson recognized this problem at the beginning of the 19th century when he confronted Islamists in the Barbary Wars to keep trade lanes open and end Islamic religious slavery. When envoys and future presidents, John Adams and Thomas Jefferson, inquired by what right the Islamic Barbary states preyed upon American shipping, enslaving both crews and passengers, America's two foremost envoys were told by Tripoli's ambassador, quote, "It was written in the Quran that all nations who should, quote, not have acknowledged their authority were sinners, that it was their right and duty to make war upon whoever they could find and to make slaves of all they could take as prisoners, and that every Muslim who should be slain in battle was sure to go to paradise," end quote. While the rest is history, with American Marines victorious on the shores of Tripoli as their anthem rings, the American people, this Congress, must recognize the same issue our founders identified and defeated over 200 years ago. Islamists are forcing their legal code onto non-believers by violence or the threat of it by any means necessary.
Well, thank you, Keith, and thank you, Senator. Thanks for joining us here in the lower house. Look, I'm not going to take a whole lot of time. I want to be very clear. I am proud to be with this group of Americans, of colleagues, many of whom wore the uniform in defense of our nation and in defense of our nation against radical Islamic terrorists who wanted to destroy our country and destroy what we know about Western civilization. And now that same war is being conducted against us, but from within. And anybody who's actually paying attention to this and understands the intentions of the Muslim Brotherhood and follows and looks at the writings and what these folks are talking about, Dallas, Houston, Texas is ground zero. That's why Keith Self and I joined together to create this Sharia-free caucus, Sharia-free America caucus, because we understand that the root strength of this country is our Judeo-Christian principles and the values of Western civilization that have advanced the cause of liberty, freedom, and prosperity for people around the world. And our ancestors bled and died so that we could live in a country like this. And you can believe whatever you want, but you cannot engage in what is a political effort to Islamify the United States of America and not expect us to fight back and say no. Sharia is inconsistent with Western civilization. Sharia is inconsistent with the Constitution of the United States, the Declaration, and the rule of law in our country. That is why we've been putting forward legislation. My friend Randy Fine from Florida put forward legislation to ban Sharia in our courts. We put legislation to say that we shouldn't have tax advantage status for CARE, who has direct ties to terrorist activities around the world. We put forward legislation to pause immigration until we've have an immigration system that vets people for adherence to Sharia law. These are the kinds of things that the American people expect us to do to defend this country. They're the kinds of things that we will do in the Sharia-free America caucus. And to stand up and let the voices of the American people be heard, that we're not going to be cowed by groups coming in and trying to make places where there are no-go zones for our women in the state of Texas. Those occur. Those are occurring right now in Arlington, in Plano, in places that are strongholds and bastions of our values as Texans and as Americans. We have people, we have women, Texans, who are afraid to go to certain areas. That's not going to happen. We're not going to let Dallas or Houston or any other city in this great country become what has happened to London and to Paris. We are going to fight for this country. And that's what I'm proud to stand shoulder to shoulder with these great men and women to say that we're going to do. And I'm not going to allow the Constitution to be, frankly, misapplied and hid behind to say that I've got to throw aside 250 years of our core Judeo-Christian principles.
Hello YouTube family, welcome back to Polito Realities. If you are new here, consider subscribing, liking and sharing today's video. Lately, the social media and also the headlines have been filled with the claims that America is becoming Islamic. Some say Sharia law is slowly replacing the US Constitution. Others go as far as saying that Mecca is coming to the United States. These statements sound very alarming, and that's why they spread very fast. But when we slow down and look at the evidence, a different picture begins to appear. There is a big gap between what is being said politically and what is actually happening on the ground. In today's video, I want us to step away from fear and emotions and look at the facts, the context, and also the reality. Let's watch Chip Roy video that sparked outrage across the internet. Stay tuned.
We're dealing with effectively a political movement, a political effort to Islamify Texas and the United States, to building a majority, to then implement Sharia law, and ultimately to convert people. That's the goal. And they're pretty open about it. The issue here is under our Constitution, you can believe what you want to believe. It is a fundamental part of the First Amendment. But at the end of the day, when you've got something that is undermining our rule of law, undermining our Constitution, we do not have to allow more people to come in who adhere to it, nor do we have to allow the creation of communities that are exclusionary and designed to implement Sharia law and so forth. As we enter Thanksgiving weekend, understand importantly, our Judeo-Christian heritage serves at the center of who we are as a country, and we have to remember that even as we protect the Constitution and the First Amendment, but we've got to remember to protect our culture at the same time.
Coming to America.
Islam's coming to America?
Yeah, it's coming.
Wait, is this going to be
one day America will become a Muslim state, a Muslim country.
Really?
Tell Trump.
That's never going to happen.
Yes, it will happen.
That's never going to happen.
God is powerful.
It's never going to happen.
God is powerful.
Is that what everybody here wants? You want to see
That's
a Muslim
what
country?
our goal is to make America Islam.
Really?
Islamic state.
Never going to happen.
Yes.
Look.
God is powerful.
It's never going to happen. Yes.
You control the heart of Americans.
Anyway,
God guides whom He wills.
Over my dead body will this become an Islamic
يريدون ليطفئوا نور الله بأفواههم
like this.
والله متم نوره ولو كره الكافرون.
If you are a fan of social media, I'm sure that you have seen videos circulating, people saying that Islam should be part of America, and if it should not be part, then America is not worshiping a true God who is Allah. Many Americans have recently been exposed to strong claims that Islam is trying to take over the US. These claims often mention Sharia law and suggest that Muslims want to replace the US legal system. Politicians and commentators use strong language, which makes the issue sound urgent and very dangerous. But strong language does not always mean that there is a strong evidence. Sharia law is often misunderstood. For most Muslims, it is personal religious guide, similar to how Christians follow church teachings or Jewish communities follow their religious traditions. In the United States, the Constitution is the highest law, and religious law cannot override it. There is no legal mechanism that allows Sharia law to replace the American law. So when politicians raise these issues in hearings or speeches, it is usually during times of political tension. Fear is a powerful tool. When people are scared, they stop, asking very many questions. Claims like America is becoming Islamic spread easily because they play on fear of change, immigration, and also the cultural differences. There is also no credible evidence that mainstream Muslim organizations are planning to take over the US legal systems. Muslims in America live under the same laws as everyone else. They vote, they work, they pay taxes, and follow the Constitution. Viral headlines often remove context and turn political debates into shocking sound bites. In the end, this issue is less about religion and more about the politics. Fear-based messages creates division and distracts people from real issues like the economy, healthcare, and corruption. Understanding the facts helps people stay calm. It helps also people to stay informed and resistant to manipulation. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. You have been watching Polito Realities. Until next time, be informed and always be blessed.